What's going on, y'all? I'm here to talk about Terapagos and the buffs and changes I've made to it for my ROM hack, Pokemon Scrambled Scarlet. So, if you're new here, before I get into explaining my rationale for all of these changes and how all that works, I highly recommend if you are new here to pause the video and read the description. When you're done with the video, you can also check out my other videos. I have a playlist of videos explaining the ROM hack. I have all the change videos, and I also have the Google Sheet link down below that you can easily click and look at for yourself. As you see on screen, it has all the links to everything you'd really want. Uh, and then most importantly, I would say is the move guide. You can check this out, and it has all of the move categories and buffs and changes organized. So definitely give all that a look. But yeah, when you're done, sorry, before, don't click off the video now because it'll mess up the watch time. I also highly appreciate all my returning viewers. Seriously, you guys are the GOAT. Make sure you all drop a comment, drop a like, helps the channel grow, helps people see my work. But yeah, I would say if you're new here to pause and read the description instead of clicking off. It'll have a lot of bullet point information about how the ROM hack is balanced and my approach with changing things. So yeah, give that a read. It'll answer a lot of your questions. But with Terapagos, I've made some really significant reworks to them. So the first things first, I am not a fan at all of how they work in vanilla, where the cute little turtle guy. I mean, I don't even like cute Pokemon that much. I do. I just think they're kind of one note. But I think like the base form of Terapagos is the most like Pokemon-like of all of the forms, right? And I don't know, one of my issues with Terapagos is that they don't really feel like a. I know this is gonna sound super corny, but like because there's like fucking Ultra Beasts and shit, but I don't know, something about Terapagos just feels like fake to me, and I don't know exactly how to put my finger on it. They just don't feel real. I don't know. I don't, especially that big fucking stellar form. I don't know. It looks stupid to me. So instead, I've shifted, pun not intended, a lot of the usability over to the base form. So now you can actually use the base form instead of them automatically just changing forms. And then one of your 3 ability slots, which again in this ROM hack you can switch between whenever you want to. Um, one of your ability slots will change you into the terrestrial form, which is your big, stronger form, which I think is really cool personally. So base Terapagos has Terra Shell, which, if you don't know, essentially it's basically like multi-scale, but it also works for multi-hit moves. I mean, my multi-scale doesn't. Essentially, it just makes moves not very effective when you're full HP. So that's super great, obviously. Base Terapagos is also much tankier. I mean, 75, 125, 125 is very bulky, especially with that Terra Shell. He's also got a usable speed stat for his Choice Scarf. Obviously, it's not like anything amazing. He also has a better speed tier for later game stuff like Rock Polish, and then at the end of the game you get Shell Smash, which is obviously good, but a bit of a endgame cheesy type of move. Not to mention setup might have like an optional soft ban put on it depending on how the game feels when it's out. But regardless, it's still something you can play around with, especially if you're playing like casually. So that's awesome. And then even base 40 speed in game is good enough for boosting your speed, because in game you don't have to deal with crazy speed tiers like you do in competitive. So for example, if you have a neutral speed nature Terapagos and you click Rock Polish, for example, and you're using the base form of Terapagos, which can also set up a bit. I mean, the terrestrial form is bulkier without Terra Shell, which is good, and it has all these really good offensive stuff, which I'll get into in a second. But hold on. So essentially, the main thing is the ability there, but let me just do the speed calcs. So yeah, you're hitting 312 with a Scarf on Terapagos, which is pretty good. You're outspeeding like base 100. No, like base 90? Yeah, you do outspeed base 90 on AI. You outspeed base 92. So that's pretty, it's usable for sure for certain situations. And then if you get a lucky plus speed nature Terapagos, then you're outspeeding a lot of stuff with Scarf. You're hitting, you're outspeeding almost 110. You're outspeeding like 106. Yeah, you speed out 106. So anything 105 and below, if you get a plus speed nature, if you get lucky. Otherwise, you're still outspeeding a decent amount of mons with Scarf on Terapagos. And then the main thing, like I said earlier, is Rock Polish and Cell Smash, which, again, base Terapagos can abuse better, but it's not like the other form can't abuse it at all. If you get a neutral speed nature, you're outspeeding the entire game basically. With after a boost, so you don't even need max EVs. That's another beautiful thing, is you can just EV creep. Say the fastest Pokemon on their team is base 120 or whatever, 372 hits. There you go. You can just run this many EVs. And then lastly, not lastly, but the speed in terms of speed conversations, 40 base speed, it seems a lot worse, but it's still pretty good. I mean, it's not incredible or anything. If you get a neutral speed nature, you're hitting that 336, which is pretty solid. Of course, this is all level 100, but it scales relatively well down to lower levels. So you're hitting, you're outspeeding base 103 with with Terapagos Terastal at +2. So that's good. But the main thing is that Terapagos Terastal. So Stellar form and Stellar Terra in general, Stellar. Oh Jesus, I can't talk. Stellar Terra in general is probably not going to be an option for the player just because I think it's really fucking boring. And I think Terra and like the cool thing about allowing Terra in a context like this is like that you can change your defensive properties and I don't know, like it's cool to RNG it and get like a random Terra type. And I mean, if you want to throw in Stellar into the RNG pool for when you RNG your Mon's Terra type, go for it. If you really like Terra, Stellar Terra for some reason, then sure. But it's not going to be in the in-game like Terra Shard list probably because I just don't like it. Not to mention, it also kind of breaks a couple of the early game contrary mons because they get the Terra Blast super early. Meanwhile, a lot of them are balanced around having their contrary moves late game. And there's a bunch of other little reasons I don't want to get into, but just know that Stellar is not a thing anymore. I think mainly I just think it's boring and stupid. And it's not like in competitive or like, you know, I mean, even in competitive it's niche, but it's more useful. In here it's like, I don't know, it's really just, I don't know, it's super boring. But the cool thing about terrestrial form is that you get that you get that versatility, which is like Protean. So you can get stab on any of your crazy coverage moves, of which, of course, I mean, the Terapagos is literally like the Omni-type Pokemon. Of course, I gave it a move for every single type. That's why I also threw on some weird shit like Hurricane and like Sludge Bomb, which you might think doesn't fit, but that's like the only two really, and Pollen Puff. Those three are like kind of reaches in my opinion. But I threw them on there because I wanted to have a special move of every type that he can abuse, and those are really the only candidates because they're TMs. And so if I'm gonna reach one, it's gonna be, it's got to be those three because they're TMs. So you can be logically more lenient with the logic for nice words, bro. You could be more lenient logically with TMs. But yeah, Terapagos has tons of really cool Draco Meteor variants, which I think is sick. They actually scale as he levels up too. So you've got Mineral Shower at 40, which is the earliest of the three, which is cool because that comes from Terra Starstorm. So also another thing I didn't cover, by the way, so I should have talked about Dazzling. Dazzling is great in this ROM hack. There's tons of new priority moves, and with the 3 ability slots, you can easily just switch to Dazzling when you need it, which is really useful. So essentially, if you see the AI has like a priority set you need to cheese, slap on Dazzling, boom, you cheese it, you take no damage. So that's a really good thing to switch to situationally. And then Terra Shell is like your average, you're either using Terra Shell or Terra Shift outside of Dazzling for that immunity. Terra Shift again gives you that versatility, gives you the special attack boost and the HP boost, and it also swaps your attack and speed, which I think is cool. I also think it's logically cooler for this baby form to be faster because he has like the legs. This guy, I don't even see how he was fucking moving personally. At least like the baby Terapagos can like kind of run a little bit. I don't know. I do like the baby one. These changes make me I'd be more interested in using them now because as they stood, number one, the baby form is stupid and useless. I hated how it just automatically changes form. Like, what's the point of it existing then? Why did the music just loop so awkwardly? Why does YouTube do this, man? Sorry, guys. There we go. All right. Yeah, so you got tons of Draco Meteor clones, Mineral Shower, Radiant Outburst, Draco Meteor, Cycle Boost, Twilight Cannon, Zap Cannon, Hydro Cannon, Blast Burn, and Leaf Storm. So I did give him, a lot of the elemental ones, which I think is really cool, like the Electric, Water, Fire, Grass. And then I also gave him some other, not elemental necessarily, but like Fairy, Dragon, Psychic, Dark ones. And then, of course, he's got the Rock one even early because that comes from Terra Starstorm's animation. That doesn't interact with him terrestrializing. I tested it. Nothing changed. I think it maybe will turn into a spread move at best, but the thing is, first of all, you can't Teller Stare on him anymore anyway. Stella, Jesus, Terra Stellar. So like, I don't know why that's hard for me to say. Yeah, overall, I mean, it's very simple. With Movie Learner, you have tons and tons of covers moves you can tack on for every situation. You've got really good utility as well, so stuff like Recover and Wish is really nice. Rocks are very niche, but it is a unique trait in this ROM hack because you do have limited distribution to those, and then it's not as like ubiquitous as it is in competitive, right? Where like the AI is constantly switching around and you're racking up damage throughout the game. It's more of just if you want like break a Focus Sash or a multi-scale or energy shield on the opponent's team, you can click a Stealth Rock. Again, the game is balanced around Teamlocked, so maybe this is the only mon on your team that can do something like that. So it's definitely a nice little tech option once in a while that you can take advantage of. You've also got really strong stabs like Tri-Attack and Hyper Beam. So Tri-Attack is 105 power overall, it's 35 base power, and it hits 3 times. Ancient Force is super early. I mean, it's 100 power, so it's weaker than Tri-Attack. And then it also, yes, it does change type to match your plate, which could be good with, a speed boosting set, like Rock Polish or Cell Smash, if you want, 100% accurate 120 power move of coverage, because all of your other strong base power moves, for the most part, that are spammable at least. For example, with the speed boosting set, you would want to abuse a spammable move. You know, you wouldn't want to use like one of the Draco Meteor variants. But I don't know, it's still pretty niche, but it can definitely take advantage of it because your other strong moves like Hydro Pump, Blizzard, Thunder, Hurricane, Focus Blast, Fire Blast, all of those would require you to run Wide Lens to use them safely. You know, that way they don't miss anymore with the buffed Wide Lens. So that's definitely a use case for Ancient Force, but the thing is that also takes up an item slot, so either way it's taking up an item slot. So I don't know, could be useful, just not the most. I mean, it's just there for flavor mostly. But yeah, Tri-Attack is really strong. It also breaks like sashes and stuff, so that's great later on. Once you get the speed boosting, like Rock Polish and stuff, you can abuse that. Although, I mean, you can change it to any type you want, right, with versatility. And the thing is, you actually stay that type, which is, in my opinion, obviously, yes, it is a nerf in Gen 9, but it can be used defensively. I think it's kind of cool in some ways because you can predict what the AI is going to use and change your type to match that for the rest of the fight. I think that's really unique, and it's pretty cool and fun to use. So. Yeah, and then later on you've also got Hyper Beam, which is another Draco Meteor variant, and this one is actually 150 power and it's stab. So yeah, you've got Hyper Beam as well as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Draco Meteor variants. So tons of really cool options for him. Also good utility like Charm, Volt Switch, Baton Pass. I could get rid of Baton Pass honestly because I don't know if I love the idea of Smash Passing, even if setup is supposed to. Yeah, fuck that. I had it there just because like it makes sense, and I mean whatever. He's like a pretty generic mon. Like it makes enough sense for him, but I am actually taking that off. Anyway, yeah, I don't really know. I mean, he's very straightforward. He's got tons of coverage. Let me also go to the. Oh shit! I messed up the format. No, hold on, guys. I also need to make a note of myself to delete PP off Terapagos. Okay. Hopefully that didn't show. No, we're good. All right. Sorry, guys, getting distracted. I don't really notice this anyways. I mean, it's super fat, right? So Terapagos, even the base form is really, really bulky and also very strong. So I would say the main difference is that you get stab and everything with Terastal, and you do get that little bit of extra bulk. So it's really up to you, like depending on the situation, which you'd want to use. But yeah, good utility stuff like I was covering earlier. So you got Recovery Wish, you know, which is also nice with Terra Shell, Iron Defense, Amnesia, which you could take advantage of, although you do become a bit of a crit magnet with those, so use them at your own, you know, discretion, I guess. You got Tool Screens, you've got Body Press, you know, other cool stuff like that. So very fun mod. You also got Priority Swift. You've got high base powers, moves like Eternal Beam that can't miss. That's a recoil move, so that's really fun. Meteor Beam. You can use it like Power Herb crap and, you know, Rock Polish stuff, whatever. I mean, tons of ways you can abuse this guy's really fun move pool with Move Relearner. And you can abuse the ability options on Terapagos. And yeah, I really do like the way I approach changing them because now they feel more interesting to use. Well, before it's like, oh cool, I get this stupid baby that turns into this stupid turtle thing that turns into like this ridiculously over-the-top looking fucking chandelier ass Pokemon, and not in a cool way like Chandelure. I don't know. I don't like the stellar form at all. It really looks stupid to me. It just doesn't look like it doesn't look like a Pokemon to me. It's the stellar form specifically. So now it doesn't exist anymore. I think it's cool to have the baby form kind of take on terrestrial form's role, and then terrestrial form takes on like stellar form's role, obviously in a more balanced way in terms of like stat wise and stuff. Although even terrestrial form, even stellar form's stats wouldn't be that crazy. Like I could have made terrestrial form 650 if I really wanted to. It wouldn't really make him that much more. I mean, he would probably just be bulkier. But I think these are nice. I like the stats. I like the way they turned out. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Leave a like if you haven't already. Drop a comment if you haven't already. All that good stuff. And appreciate you listening to the end. Leave a comment. Actually, if you're listening to this, if you made it to the end, I really do appreciate that. So yeah, peace.